Okay, so today's language update. Today is the 31st of May, 2025. So I think overall throughout the whole day, I had a good balance of positive and negative thoughts. And I'd say the first half of the day, I had overweighing positive ones, but then the second half, I would say overweighing negative ones. But there was also always some negative and some positives in the mix. Yeah, so basically this morning I let myself sleep in because it's Saturday, it's the weekend, and there's nothing I have to do. I was telling myself there's nothing I have to do, it's all up to me and I can sleep in. So I allowed myself to sleep in, and then I was still lying in bed for a while, and I'd say that's when the first negative thought popped up. It was you're lying in bed for so long, it's it was almost 11, or it was 11 already in the morning, and I was you're wasting your day, you should get up. That was the first one. But then I was no, it's the weekend, I can stay in bed for as long as I want, and if this is how I want to spend my Saturday because I enjoy it, then that's exactly what I can do. I got up and I then finished watching the movie called The Longest Ride on Disney, and I had an hour left of that movie, and I decided I'm gonna make it comfortable for myself, I'm gonna watch it, and I really enjoyed that. I really love, I mentioned so many times already, I feel movies are my passion, my comfort. It's I get to go into a different world for a while and forget about all my problems that don't really exist in reality, because if you can forget about your problems for a while, it means they're not actually there. They don't actually exist. So anyway, the movie was so emotional as well, the love story of the elderly man. I cried so hard at the end of the movie. But I love when movies can do that. I just love it so much. So yeah, I very much enjoyed that. Then my friend Mario called me for a few minutes, we were talking for maybe 10-15 minutes. And he is on the way to Ibiza to meet his person that he met. So I didn't ask him any questions about it the whole week, basically, and neither did I today. And we discussed it, he's fine with not telling me any information about them for now, because I just want to deal with the fact, that he has met someone, even though I like him and he doesn't like me back in that way. So I don't want to be overloaded with that sort of information, because I know that would just make my journey a bit harder. But I have to say, I haven't been thinking about that for a few days now, or a while now already, because there has been something else in the foreground of my mind, which is, the stuff in relation to sex and that sort of topic again, which is not a new topic for me to brood about, but I always have those phases, but this time it seems more stronger again a bit, because I can learn a lot from it, and it has so much to do with my language, how I'm catastrophizing it, how I'm telling myself I shouldn't do this and that. Yeah, but anyway, I then obviously, noticed, he is going to Ibiza, so it's happening and stuff like that. But it didn't affect me that much. There was just, I think, one thought that was I wish he would say oh, Leona, I'm actually not so sure I want to go to Ibiza. I think I might have feelings for you. That was the wish I had in that moment, that he just would realize he likes me and doesn't actually want to go there. But yeah, then I made an update video, one of these, for yesterday, because I didn't have time yesterday. And that was nice, again, to realize what a lovely day yesterday was, and how for a while yesterday I just completely stopped brooding and stopped thinking in a negative way, and it just made me realize my problems aren't actually real, and they aren't as big as I'm making them and stuff. and I can have a really lovely time, and my life isn't actually like negative and shit. Actually, like, I don't know, my attitude today was actually good, but then I kind of, felt down about myself later on in the day. Anyway, so the good attitude that I had was basically, okay, I'm going to put on a nice movie in the background and I'm going to do some research for like work and travel where me and Amy could possibly go, and maybe even Alana as well. And then it was already 4 o'clock. And by that time, then I decided to like lie on the couch a bit and just relax, like watch a bit of a movie and maybe some YouTube as well. And I watched again like Riverdale interviews or like behind the scenes stuff, and I had to just laugh so much. Like, yeah, it was so funny and I loved it. But that's, I think, when the most unhelpful thinking crept in, or I used, because I was then like, I was looking at the time and I was lying there for 1.5 hours already. So it was now 5:30. And then I was like, you should do more with your time. You shouldn't waste your time on this. And like, you're gonna, you're a bit of a phone addict at the moment. You're like a lot, on your phone more than you usually would be. And you're not good at concentrating at the moment either. And you always like get very distracted, or like you do one thing after the other, not really finishing a thing fully. And yeah, I have been noticing that, like, I have been not very like calm within myself. I've been trying to keep myself busy, but yeah, not in a very like helpful way, I guess, because I don't know, like, it's not that bad, I guess, either, but in that moment, like, I was telling myself it is not good, because yeah, I have been in the past few days, like, or in the past while, not felt very satisfied within myself. So I always kind of wanted to find things to do that could like kind of satisfy me, and where I could kind of just relax and enjoy what I'm doing, but I don't really find things. And then when like negative thoughts creep in again or something, that's when I like want to distract myself more, and I then often like reach out for my phone and scroll on YouTube for a bit, because that's just distracting, because you see like many new things that then like your mind can think about, instead of thinking about the one thing that you don't want to think about. What's unhelpful about that is that I'm telling myself, like, you're too distracted, you're too addicted, you're not concentrating properly, like, you should find a better way, and it's not good, stuff like that. And yeah, I know it's not very good to, feel like I need something else to feel satisfied in some sort of way. But at the same time, what makes it all worse, or what makes it bad, is when I think it's bad and I shouldn't be doing that and stuff. So instead, I could just be understanding with myself that right now I am creating a lot of thoughts that I don't really want to like deal with, or I kind of feel out of control with. So that's why I want to kind of, I guess, escape from them. And I need to see that, yeah, that's kind of, understandable, but then tell myself as well, like, you can deal with them and stuff like that. And what is hard is that, like, through the Thrive program, I learned as well that things don't happen to you. It's, your mind and your reaction and the way you're thinking about it that either makes it a good or a bad experience for you. So it has nothing to do with really anything outside of you or anything external. Your reality is, filtered through your mind, your thoughts, your lenses, your beliefs. And even though that's like so empowering, if you then also realize you're in control of your mind, and you're the one who's feeding your mind, and you can change all your beliefs and your lenses and your thoughts. But what makes it unhelpful is when you believe you're not in control of your mind, but then you're learning, nothing is happening to you, and it's all in your own mind, basically. So you believe, like, oh my God, like, it's just happening and there's nothing I can control then. Like, if the reality is, filtered through the way my mind is working and I'm not in control of my mind, then you feel really out of control, you know? And I know I'd say 60%, or a lot of the time up to 80%, but at the moment, I'd say I know to like 60% that I'm in control of my mind, but to like a big 40%, I feel out of control of my mind. I feel like I can't stop thinking about things because I'm like brooding or I'm being hyper vigilant. I feel like I need to find answers for things. I feel like I shouldn't stop thinking about things so that I can prevent something bad from happening, or like that I need to figure this out because, you know, I don't want to be living a lie or things like that, you know, like, but it is true that you are in control of your mind. You can change all your beliefs and stuff, but sometimes, like now, for example, it's just harder for me to believe that or to see that. But that's then what makes me feel more powerless, when I believe I'm not in control of my mind. You know, if I would believe I am in control of my mind, I'd immediately feel more powerful. And something else that I've been noticing is I don't feel like I'm fully here right now. Like it's not like something I experienced in the past where I felt like I was half asleep most of the time, or I was like living in a different world and I really couldn't feel anything around me. It's not like that. It's not that intense, but it just, yeah, my reality doesn't really seem like my reality. And I know that that's because I am brooding a lot at the moment and I'm thinking a lot about certain thoughts and certain things, especially again with the topic of sex and like masturbation and all of that. Like, I'm thinking a lot about that at the moment, and whenever I have like a second where it's like quiet and I'm not doing anything, like I immediately go back to that topic and think about it again. And I know I can stop it because I've done it in the past, and I know I don't need to brood about it or be hyper vigilant. But the thing is also, like, I want to find an answer, and that's why I'm choosing to keep brooding, because I think I need to find an answer so that I can figure this out for myself and stop like feeling pain or telling myself I shouldn't do certain things or shouldn't want. Like, I don't know, I want an answer basically so that I can feel at peace. But if you're brooding, like, you don't find an answer because like your perspective just gets smaller and smaller because you're focusing more and more on one thing. And that's what hypervigilance is. Yeah, so that's why like I don't feel very settled. I feel very fidgety, like I'm going at my hair a lot as well, which I do when I'm stressed. I'm, you know, not very calm. Like I do one thing after the other. When I put on a movie, after 5-10 minutes, I go at my phone. Or like I decide to watch a different movie, or I want to go somewhere else, or I want to phone my family or something, you know, because I just feel unsatisfied in myself and I feel not centered and not very calm, and I feel very like quiet in my mind. And like I said, anytime I do have like a quieter second, I immediately go back to my mind and go back to this topic. And that's why I feel like I'm not fully here and I'm not, you know, fully enjoying things as much as I'd like to. But today I also had some thoughts like, you know, when I'm back home and stuff, I'm gonna miss this as well, being alone, because I really do like it. So I was like, I'm gonna make the most out of the last like 10 days now that I have left before mom comes then for 2 weeks. So I have 10 days or something by myself still. So I was like, I'm just gonna make the most of that, you know, because, you know, I do love being alone, and I had so much fun and such a nice time all the other times I was here in Spain alone, and I can do that again, you know. And just because I'm brooding more now, or like I'm more in my thoughts, doesn't mean that this is ruined or that I can't have a good time. Yesterday, meeting with my friend Mario and his sister proved to me that I can still have a good time even when I have these spells where I'm like brooding or hypervigilant. And especially when I do have a good time, that's when I brood less and when I'm not hypervigilant. So I need to like just make a good time for myself. Yeah, anyway, those are some things that have been going on, and I've just, you know, not been feeling centered and not been feeling satisfied or calm. Or I did go up to the roof terrace then, at like, I don't know, 5:45 or something. And then I was there for a bit and I read the hypervigilant thinking style in the Thrive program. And like, I, really saw how that's playing a part currently as well, and how that's linked to brooding and stuff. And then I laid there and looked up at the sky, and there was so many swallows flying around. Like, it was so beautiful. But again, then I returned to some of these thoughts that I've like been brooding about, and then also telling myself again that like I'm not doing enough or I'm not good enough. So feeling bad about my life, about my work, what I'm doing, that it's like too little, it's not enough, I should be doing more, I should be earning money, stuff like that, feeling bad about it, like as if I'm not doing enough, and as if it's like so boring and bad that I'm home so much of the time, and that I'm not like going out to meet more people or not doing more things, and that I'm mainly at home. And then just, telling myself these things that I'm like not good enough, and I'm not, I don't know, like really, not helpful. Instead, I can be like, but I like it this way. Like, if I didn't like my life, if I didn't want this, then I could just go out and do things, and I could meet more people, and I could find a job, and I could do more things and earn money and stuff. But I actually like my life, but I feel like I need to feel bad about that because I'm not working so many hours every day, or like I have a lot of free time where I can decide how I design my day like freely the way I want. But that's like a dream, like that's so amazing. Like I wouldn't want it any other way. Like I love being able to decide the way I want to live my life and what I want to do each day, even if that means like 70% of the day doing whatever I want, 30% working, or like I love that. And why do I feel bad about that? I think it's my social anxiety that I feel like other people are going to judge me, or I'm also telling myself, well, if you don't work, then you're not going to be able to learn with the stress of like needing to work or needing to do things, because I am always afraid of that, like feeling like I have to do things and then not being able to stop that feeling. So I'm telling myself, like, if you always do whatever you want to do, you'll never learn how to deal with like the fact that you need to do things. And then whenever that will happen, you'll feel stuck and you'll hate your life and everything will be horrible for you. Like really stupid, like really unhelpful thoughts, as you can see. But like, why? No, I don't. Like, I want to work with animals, for example, and I want to have fun while doing that, and I don't want to feel like I have to do it and I'm stuck or like I must, whatever. I want to be able to enjoy that and to earn some money while working with animals and having a nice time. But also, like, I don't want to have a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to have to go to work. I love what I'm doing, and if I could earn money with the job that I'm doing, like enough money to keep me going, then I would be really happy with that. And even though I also do want to do more things and I want to get out sometimes, but I can do that. Like I can do that on my own terms and conditions without needing a job that I then need to go to every day, Like, I can do that in my own way. If I want to do more stuff, I can go out and do more stuff. But at the same time, that has also got to do with the fact that I'm comparing myself to others' lives that are very busy. And then I'm thinking my life should be like that too, even though it's not, and I don't actually want it to be. If I want to do stuff, I can do stuff. And it's okay when my life is calmer and quieter, and a lot of people wish for that, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't want my life to be stressful and like I have to do certain things. I love this and I want to not feel bad about it, but a part of me just believes I need to feel bad about it, or in between I keep going back to the thoughts that I should feel bad, or like, it's kind of embarrassing that I'm not doing more than I am, or that I don't have a proper job. But like, maybe I'm not seeing the reality that I am doing a lot actually, and I am editing videos, making videos, uploading them. I have my own YouTube channel. Me and my sisters are starting a podcast YouTube channel, and I have written so many scenes and worked with producers, and I'm continuing to do that, even though it's going slow, but I'm still working on that. I'm still a writer. I've written a book that I'm always kind of working with as well, and I made a website recently and can like work on that anytime I want as well, uploading more of my diary entries onto that and stuff. Like, yeah, it's like so stupid. Like, I don't know. Basically, I just see again, like, when I tell myself I'm not good enough, or I feel bad about myself, tell myself I should do more or be more, that's when I really feel down and I feel really shit about myself. And that's when my social anxiety increases, because then I compare myself to other people, and I'm scared of people asking me what I do, because I don't want them to judge me, and that's all just because I'm telling myself that I'm not enough. If I would be proud of everything I'm doing, which I can be as a 19-year-old person, and in general, like, I can be, then I wouldn't be socially anxious in that, like, in relation to that situation, or my self-esteem would be higher, my sense of power and control would be higher, because I'd be like, I'm doing what I want to do, I'm doing what I choose to do, and if I want to do more, I can do more. And anyway, those things were going on, and then obviously, like I already said, like the thoughts about sex and masturbation stuff as well, and then I'm seeing, of course, that I'm catastrophizing that, I'm brooding about it, being hypervigilant about it, so that's why it feels like a much bigger problem than it actually is. In reality, it's just masturbation. In reality, it's just a small thing, but I'm telling myself, no, if I ever do it, I could get addicted to it because I would want it that much, or something like that. Instead of being like, no, I can stop that. Addiction is just a belief. Like, it is in my control, and it's just because I'm interested in it doesn't mean I'm gonna be addicted to it or gonna need it all the time. And just because I feel like I don't know, want it now, or feel like I might need it now, doesn't mean like I'm gonna get addicted. Like, and in reality, it is just masturbation. It's not a big thing. Like, it doesn't need to be. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. And then always I compare my things and my worries always to like war, because in war I just believe like if that were to ever happen, that like I would feel so out of control, and that my mind would end up like, being the worst and like killing me in it. Yeah, but I also know that if once you are in control of your mind and you know how it works and how you can make it good and helpful, and that like you don't need to feel like so hopeless or out of control, and like things are happening to you and it's so bad and scary. Like, you don't need to feel like that. And even if war happens, like it's again only your mind. It's your mind that makes it bad. So if you change your thoughts and your beliefs, and you know that you're strong and you can get through everything, if you have that belief that you can cope with everything, then you won't feel out of control. You won't feel so like catastrophic emotions, like such strong emotions. You'll be strong in yourself and confident, and won't feel so lost and in despair, and like, all of that stuff. Like, I always think war is like, kind of the worst, because it just feels like things are happening to you and it's out of your control. But if you manage your thinking, like, you are then in control of the way you react to things, so you don't make your reality a horrible one, even though reality would be horrible because war is horrible. But you wouldn't make your own life horrible. You would be in control of the way you react to things and how you feel and stuff like that. And that is all possible. And I'm still trying to get there, to really see like I can manage it and I can cope with things and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, long story. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, bye. Okay, today is the 1st of June, 2025. Today's language update is that I was honestly doing better today than I have been talking to myself the past week, I would say. Yeah, I've been in a weird blip and been brooding about many things and stuff in the past week, so I haven't been feeling that great. And then obviously I had very catastrophic thoughts as well, and was very negative about everything, and just then felt very down, and a bit of fear was involved then as well, because everything felt so catastrophic and so real. But because I noticed today, because during the night I didn't sleep very well, I was tossing and turning and kept waking up, and it was really hot in my room as well, so I opened the window during the night, but that kept me awake, I kept waking up. And then just obviously I had many thoughts in my head, and I was brooding again, or not that it really stopped the past week, I've been just brooding a lot. And then I woke up in the morning and I wasn't feeling bad, but I did notice how I was really resisting the brooding. I really just want to get rid of it. I was fed up with it. I was just shut the fuck up and leave me alone. I really felt I wanted to punch my mind. Yeah, so that was a bit annoying, but then because of this, I decided today I'm gonna do what I enjoy and focus on the things I love, because that's what helps me to stop brooding. When I do what I love, when I'm immersed in something that I feel passionate about, instead of being immersed in the thoughts that I don't like thinking about. I would say the way I designed my day and kind of what I did was very nice and very helpful, because I just did what I felt was good for me in that moment, and just really relaxed into my day and decided to not beat myself up and not feel bad about myself and about what I'm doing and my work and my life, to just not think about that. I was today I'm not gonna brood, and I made a decision as well, I'd say 90%, but what I've noticed as well when I brood, what helps is when I just make a decision. So I often brood when I'm not sure, and I'm I don't know what the right thing is, and I want to find an answer. That's why I brood. I want to find an answer. And the reason why people brood is because they feel they can't cope with something. And that completely made sense. So my coping skills were low, or I believed they were low. I believed I didn't have the skills to cope with something. So that was definitely the reason why I was brooding, because I wanted to find an answer to prevent myself from not being able to cope or something. And I felt very external in that area. What I was brooding about felt very powerless, and that's why I then brooded more. The more I thought about it, I brooded more, and felt less powerful. And at the end of the day, brooding just doesn't help whatsoever. It does not make anything better, and you don't find solutions when brooding. It's when you're calm and present and have perspective, that's when you find solutions. I just kind of did my day, and I was calling with my friend Mario as well, who's currently in Ibiza, and visiting the girl he met or whatever, but he seems to be alone most of the time, so maybe she didn't have a lot of time to meet him. But he was every time he texted me, which was quite a lot, he always said he was alone doing something. He was like, I'm at the beach alone currently listening to music or something. Or he called me often, like yesterday he called me 3 times, and every time he was alone. And then today he called me as well. It was like 2:30 or something, and he was like alone as well, and we were talking for like half an hour. So like, I don't know, I think maybe now they have met up because I haven't heard from him in a while now. But yeah, he arrived yesterday like early enough in the day. And anyway, the point is we were calling yesterday and today, and it was really nice. Like it always is. We always laugh a lot. We always just ourselves and just like chatting to each other and appreciate each other and stuff like that. Yeah, but obviously before, during, and after, I was a bit like sad. And yesterday evening as well, I noticed that like my brooding has a lot to do with the fact, that, yeah, with the situation between him and me, that he doesn't like me back and he has met someone and stuff, and I'm obviously upset about that, and it's okay, like I'm guiding myself through it. But I think I've been brooding as well because I've been trying to like not think about him so much and not think about the situation so much. So I was more focused on something else. And what I was feeling the whole time while brooding was like dissatisfaction. What's the word for that? But I was brooding the whole time, and while brooding, like what I felt was unsatisfied. I felt like I wasn't enough for myself, that I felt like I needed other people, or I needed something so that I felt good and I felt satisfied. So I felt like I wasn't enough for myself, and I felt like I also couldn't stop brooding, or like I kind of had to, because that's the only way I'll find an answer, and I really wanted to find an answer. So yeah, at the end of the day, I chose to brood because I really wanted to find an answer. But it felt like also that I couldn't stop. It was like, but I need an answer, else I might not be okay, basically. After the call, yeah, I was just really upset. And then throughout the whole day today, I'm just noticing, yeah, that topic still is an upsetting topic. And I haven't been thinking about that in the past week, I would say, a lot, because I was focused so much on something else and brooding about other things. But like that still is something, yeah, that I'm obviously dealing with. And today I've just noticed, like, I just really wish he would, ring me up or text me and just say, like, I noticed that I actually do like you and I don't like this girl that I met, or like, I can't stop thinking about you and I want to be with you. Or, I just really wish he would finally say or see or feel that there's something between us and that he likes me. But I'm also staying realistic, being like, no, he's there, and right now he's interested in another person and not in me, and we still care deeply about each other and we're great friends. But yeah, it's just that my thoughts are just my fantasy and my wishes, but it's not the truth right now. The truth is that he's there and he's interested in her currently. But yeah, I'm trying to be understanding with myself as well. That's the best medicine, being kind to yourself, being understanding with yourself, guiding yourself through it. That's the way you're going to get through everything much, much easier. Then, like, I've been working much more in the Thrive program today as well than I have been in the past while. And that helped me a lot as well, and that was really nice. And this morning I took another nap on the couch because, like I said, I didn't sleep very well, and I allowed myself to relax, and that was very soothing as well. And I listened to music throughout the day. I'm currently in love with the song Teardrops by Liam Payne, and then When I Look at You by Miley Cyrus. I just love those songs, and I was just playing them while I was doing my stuff, and that was really soothing too. And I sat up on the roof terrace for a while and just kind of tried to breathe in and relax and be there for myself. And then I called with my mom because we actually haven't spoken properly in a while. So we wanted to kind of catch up. And then I just told her about how I've been brooding so much. And she gave me a few tips and just, pointed out with me that brooding doesn't get you anywhere. Like, it's really unhelpful. So choose not to do it. Like, immediately when you notice you're brooding, be like, no, I'm not going to go into it. Focus your mind upon something else. Focus your mind on something that you enjoy. Be there for yourself. Like, do things that are good for you. That's, how you learn how to cope with things like this, and how you then build your sense of power and control, because then you realize, oh, there is something I can do against brooding and I don't need to brood. And also, like I said, making a decision. Did I actually finish saying that? Yeah, I think I didn't. Making a decision in relation to brooding really helps as well. Yeah, because I was trying to find an answer and I was like stuck between two sides. But then when I was just like, no, like I'm not going to do the thing I was brooding about, that's when, like, a lot of the brooding stopped already. Because I was like, I'm going to figure this out at some point, but right now I'm just not at that point where I feel strong enough to deal with it. Right now I'm still, because I'm brooding, it shows that I still feel very powerless in relation to it, and the brooding is just making it worse. So I was like, no, for right now, even if it changes tomorrow, but for right now I'm deciding to not do it. And yeah, just making a decision then, yes or no or whatever, helps me, like, to release a lot of the brooding. Yeah, and talking to mom helped, because she also pointed out how, like, it's just a belief that you aren't able to cope. That's just a belief. Like, everyone is able to cope. And yeah, it was dad first, because he came in for a second while me and mom were talking, and he just said what he learned from Rob Kelly, and what I also learned from the Thrive program, but it was nice to hear it again, was that you only brood when you have a low belief in your coping skills. So you don't believe you have the skills to cope with something, whatever you're brooding about. So you need to increase your coping skills, and you need to work on that, and then the brooding will stop and calm down. And once your coping skills are high, you're not going to brood about things anymore, because I can handle it. I don't need to find an answer. Like, I'm going to be okay. Yeah, mom was speaking and I had to cry while she was saying this, because she just said, like, you don't believe in yourself that you have the skills to cope, but it is only a belief. And she was like, look at me, Leona, look at me. I am your mother, and I am telling you, I know that you can cope. And I know that you can cope with whatever is going on. And I know that if you were to ask anyone around you, and everyone who knows you would say that you are able to cope, that you are so strong and you are capable. It's only you who's believing that you're not. And she told me a few times, like, Leona, look at me, I'm telling you, you are able to cope. And that all of that just made me realize how I really, have a low belief in my coping skills, at least in that area. It was just so nice to see, it's not a fact. It doesn't actually mean I'm not able to cope. Everyone is actually able to cope with everything they go through. Like, you do cope. You do. Like, you automatically do already. So yeah, it was really nice to catch up with her and to chat a bit about that. Yeah, another like tip she gave me would be, if there's something that I'm like unsure about, or instead of brooding, I could like contemplate things. So don't involve your emotions, but see things without like an emotional connection to it. Like, and if that's not maybe that's not possible for everything, but Yeah, anyway, it was really nice talking to her and stuff. And then I went for a walk afterwards, and I was like, yeah, just quite upset about, what sort of thoughts I'm creating currently, and how I just believe that I can't do anything about it. But I don't know, just how I'm feeling, and, all of that is just, yeah, a bit upsetting. But at the same time, I know, like, I will get through this. And when I look at my life, like, from a different perspective without these bad emotions, it's like, I love it. Like, I love my life, and there's nothing I really want to complain about. There's nothing I really can complain about. Like, I really do love it, and I want to feel that way as well. And I know I can, and I'm already happy that at least I'm able to see, like, I actually like my life, And yeah, another tip Mom gave me was, when you brood, you focus on negative things. So she was like, focus on the positive things, the things that you're accomplishing and how much you've grown and the things you love and enjoy and stuff like that. Yeah, and then my evening continued with some more like negative thoughts about myself, and some more thoughts that were like a bit beating me up, because especially when I noticed, like, I love speaking to my family or to my friend Mario, like, that's just so nice. And having people, I was then telling myself, yeah, but you shouldn't rely on them, like, you should be okay with yourself. And I usually am, like, I often have a really nice time with myself, but right now I'm just going through a bit of a harder patch, and I just love being able to communicate with people. But I'm telling myself, like, no, I'm relying on them too much, and that's not good, that I should be able to make myself feel better, but then right now, actually, just before I started this video, I was like telling myself, it's okay to want to speak to people, and it's okay to some extent to feel like you really want them, or you want their help and their support, and you want to speak to them so that you can feel better. Like, to some extent, that's okay, especially while I am learning to build my coping skills. Like, it's not good to fully rely on them, but I'm, being aware of that as well. But for right now, as I'm still building my coping skills, it's okay to kind of want them and speak to them, and like want them in my life and stuff, and want their advice or things like that, until I feel like I don't need anyone anymore. But it's still lovely to have them, and that is the goal. But at the same time, I feel like us humans, we always feel like we need some sort of connection, and we're people that just naturally want to be with someone. When I just started to accept, like, it's okay to kind of want that to some extent, and it's okay to, be sad about my friend Mario, and it's okay to wish that he would want me, and it's okay, like, all of that. When I told myself, like, it's okay and you're gonna be fine, I much more felt, capable already, and I much more felt like just more chill and like soothed, and like I don't need to be so strict on myself, and like, oh, I'm doing everything wrong and I should be, like, I was being so strict on myself the past week, I would say, and stuff. And now I'm just kind of telling myself, like, girl, it's okay. Like, especially when you feel down, like, I'm reaching out to people because I know that I love being around them and talking to them. And I'm, doing a nice thing for myself by doing so. And yeah, of course, at the end of the day, I don't want to be relying on them to feel happy. No, and that's what I'm exactly working towards, that I can totally be that, person for myself. Yeah, but at the same time, I need to cut myself some slack and be kinder to myself, and just be like, girl, it's okay. Like, and Mom also said, like, if you need, a couple of months or a year or even 5 years to just do absolutely nothing and just completely be there for yourself and completely learn to be there for yourself, then that's okay. But the most important thing is that you are just there for yourself, that you just are kind and find yourself and stuff. And I think that's just what I need to prioritize, because I keep saying no, but I need to find a job, or I need to work, or I need to figure my life out, or I need to do this and that. And no, like, the most important thing is that I am there for myself. I love myself. I am my own guide and my own best friend and my own everything, because then I'll be able to manage everything in my life, because I'll always have myself. And if I always have myself, I'll get through literally everything, because I'll always have myself and I am myself. So that is the main priority, and I don't need to keep beating myself up for not having a proper job right now that's paying me, or like for going on holidays like to Spain, living here by myself. Like, why would I feel bad about myself? Yeah, anyway, and then another thing I regained perspective on, or which helped me to view it this way, was seeing like, yeah, okay, I wish my friend Mario liked me more than he does. And I wish, we could be together. At the same time, I'm like also saying it's probably better if we're not, because I would be relying too much on him to make me feel happy. Basically, I would be more like, oh wow, he's now in my life, and now my life is like complete and so happy and like stuff like that, which is not the truth. So yeah, but basically a nice way for me to see it was not to be like, okay, you need to get rid of your feelings for him or stuff like that. To first of all be like, I can always love him to some extent. I don't need to get rid of my feelings, but I just need to get to that stage where I'm okay being by myself as well, and where I don't feel so hurt or upset when he's not more than a friend for me. But then seeing it in a different light, and the light was basically seeing how, like, what an amazing friend I have. Seeing how, like, I wish to have a friend like him for so many years. In my depression, if I would tell my past self in my depression, you nowadays have a friend like him who is exactly the way you imagined him to be, she would be like over the moon. She would like, feel like so much more like her life is worth living, and she's gonna find friends. And like, my past self did always believe that, somewhere out there is someone for me, and I never gave up that hope. And now I literally have that. So I just now I'm like trying to see like, oh my God, he is someone I wished for so long. And I have this amazing friend, and I will always love him and always cherish him and always be grateful for the fact that I met him and we are so close, and I get to be with him, like, live my life with him, and he's a part of it. Like, just seeing it that way instead of seeing it like, oh, I feel like I need him, or I really want him and I shouldn't feel that way. But no, in seeing like, I love him so much as a friend, and he is so amazing, and like, this is something I wished for years, and now I have this amazing friend. And yeah, my past self would have been like over the moon knowing like he's this sort of friend that I have now. Yeah, so that was a nice way of kind of seeing it as well. But what I definitely need to practice more, and I'm realizing more and more and more, is I need to be kind to myself. I need to cherish myself, appreciate myself. I need to love myself. I need to be understanding with myself, be okay with myself, accept myself the way I am. And that's how I'm going to get through everything. I think that's the biggest coping skill you can have, is when you are there for yourself and you are fully understanding of yourself. You guide yourself through everything. That is the biggest coping skill you can have. And that's what I'm working on. So yeah, that's today's update. I'd say right now I'm not like feeling super great. As you can see in this video, it explains how I'm feeling. So, you know, there's moments where I regain perspective. There's moments where I'm just sad and my brain, like my mind isn't fully here right now, and it's, you know, in many different places sometimes, and other times it's more here. But, you know, I'm just realizing as well, like I'm in a blip, so I'm not seeing reality. I'm not living in reality right now. And that helps me to see as well, you know, what I'm thinking isn't fully real, because I don't have a calm mind that is seeing all the, like the whole perspective right now. So that's just nice to see as well. Like I don't have perspective fully right now. I'm in a blip. That's why I feel this way, and I'm gonna get out of it again. I've been through so many different blips in my life, and I always made it out, and I always was stronger, you know, coming out the other side. So at the end of the day, this is going to make me stronger, and this is something I can absolutely learn from. There's a big lesson in this, you know, no matter, you know, you can see by the extent of like how strong something is that you feel or think or whatever, you know, that's the strength of like the learning you can get out of it. So like, you know, if I feel like I'm in a really big blip and it's really difficult to deal with, then it means that it's something really big I can learn, and really, you know, a really big step I can take in going forward and going up the ladder. So yeah, let's keep going. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.